no idea what to call this series. Started off being EP91, where we had the crash red one, and the silver one we stripped apart. Then I went to fixing a $300 car, and it's not really about that anymore. Got this friend, Dave Raymakers. He's fixing the car. I'm buying the bits. He's buying bits for his bikes, and I'm fixing his bike. So it's kind of like a mutual set of favours, if you know what I mean. So I don't really know what to call it. Anyway, look, in this one, you can see the engine here. This is just exploratory. I don't know anything about XL250s, but I do now, since I've done this yesterday. So we start stripping the bike, we take the engine out. There's not any engine footage in this video because I've already up to 25 minutes and I did want to go over that. So the engine one is in the next video because I've got to yank the other one out too. So this is mainly talking about parts, what we've got, what we need to get, the way we're going to tackle this, and basically starting on the bike itself. So I hope you enjoy. Now we're recording. I wasn't recording before, Dave. No. So I've taken the head off and it looks really, really good inside. The reason we took it off was there was a bit of sort of oxidized sweating around the back sort of side of it. Probably just from sitting around or a little bit of weepage. Ah, yeah, show us the gasket. The cams look brilliant. So that's all good.
It's just a gear arrangement to stop them rattling.
Yeah? Yeah. Yeah, there's only the one external pulley. How was that?
Alright, just
that's alright.
The
oh yeah,
grows,
over there.
Grows and down here, grows out the edges.
Yeah. But the jacket
so it wasn't
really good.
It wasn't blown
yeah, it's all good, isn't it?
All looked fine.
I'll just show you on the motor, Pete, over here.
The motor's been a bit hammered actually.
Motor's rooted. Oh, yeah, it's been hammered. You're a prick.
funny.
No, it all looks good. That was a little bit dirty. Mum used to run on unleaded. I run all my cars on premium, so that'll all clean up.
You know, looking at this, we do shed a little light on it.
No, I'm stoked. It's awesome.
There was a little mark in the ball. Well,
yeah, there was a little mark down there. Down in there.
Probably just where it's been sitting.
Yeah, most likely. I'm not worried about that.
yeah, you can't feel it with your finger.
It's not a porosity thing or anything, but even if it was, it never gave any trouble. Half of it lifted off with my finger before. Yeah. That'll be right.
Yeah.
She's right. It's all good. So I got a timing set for it because head was coming off anyway, and Dave put a water pump on it, which is, you can just see the back of it there. Got an indicator. I don't know how you got it in because I thought I was going to have to pull it out with a screw stick.
We pulled the guard out a little bit. We didn't clean all your sticky stuff off here.
No, that was the other one was just sort of stuck there.
We didn't want to peel the paint off because the guard's pretty primo.
It's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah, I like that. I like the colour. It brings out my feminine side. She's got that in. I'm amazed you got it in. Like 30 comments.
Already?
Yeah.
Do they like us?
Yeah.
I've washed the washers up for the head bolts and I'll pre-oil them and oil the threads on the torque to yield bolts. So when it all gets put together, it'll be honky-dory.
But you had to get stretched to yield. We'll talk to your bolts for the $32 a set, so it's negligible.
And a couple of the bolts gave me grief. Where are they? They were tight as anything, Pete. Two of them rounded off the heads.
What, the head bolts?
Yeah.
Really?
So what I had to do was get easy outs in them. Easy outs in a couple because they rounded out the hex heads. So two of them, I thought I was going to be putting the old motor back in for you. Oh, look at that. Some are different lengths. That can't be too hard to work out. Unless, of course, my brother's just put some longer ones in here.
How's the petrol going?
Solvent. So we've got 4 longer ones.
Oh, well, whatever pokes up uniformly through the holes, I guess.
That's how we'll work it out.
Yeah. You carby for it.
I want a 4-barrel.
I'll get you another one. Hang on.
Can you bolt it sideways on here with the carby? Let's have a look. That'll look really tough. Look at this. Oh, I like it.
All the shorter ones go in that back edge.
Hang on, now we'll just brush over what we've done.
Oh no, this is easy.
Just got to brush over what we've done here.
No, the bolts are easy. The
Yeah, it won't be too hard to do. Cool. So it's got the old radiator in from the old car that was pranged, and
Squeaky ones in.
all the cross-hatching still in the bore. It's really good.
Cams all look good, no wear on
Cams
the
look great, don't they?
Yep. All look alright.
Yeah, it all looks really, really good, doesn't it? It's a pretty low mileage engine, really. Actually, I might need to see you about a battery. This is Alex. Might need to see you about a battery too. So it's a bit of a one-stop shop, this. You've got all your mechanical repairs and a resident auto elec as well. There's nothing that can't be sorted out here. So the belt was done 40,000 Ks ago, so it's nowhere near ready to be replaced, but the seals were knackered.
Have gone rock hard.
Yeah, yeah.
The belt you can still...
Yeah. Oh, it's a genuine belt. So you did that.
Yeah.
I did the services, but you did the timing belt.
Cam one's still softish.
Yeah.
Oil pump's rock hard. See how it's cracking as soon as I push on it?
Gee, that really did. Tell you what, leaving an engine sitting around for 2.5 years isn't really a good idea.
No, I see that. They just go...
Yeah? Oh, that's
Probably hard to see, but it's
Yeah,
rock
no, I
hard
can
as
see
soon as
it.
I
Mine's
push on
such
it.
rubbish. How was the water pump when you took it off?
Its bearing's not noisy, but it looks like it's been leaking
Yeah.
out the telltale there.
So we'll put the green coolant in. Nice and clean inside though.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole motor's clean inside.
Yeah. That's awesome. Brilliant. Is that the right belt though? Because there's two different belts for these, isn't there?
It was the same teeth as that. I didnn't hold it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's the round tooth one.
Yeah, yeah. And the other one's square, isn't it? Oh, yeah. So did it come with the idlers, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yes, I've still got to put one of the idlers on.
Right, well, it's Saturday. I've done my chores around the house. I can't do any of the boards because it's sort of overcast and raining periodically, so I don't really want to do that. Took my mother out for morning tea, took my daughter horse riding, done all the chores I need to. Wifey and I went shopping as well, so I've got some time in the afternoon. It's a great time to have a look at these bikes now and start repaying my debt to Dave. So as mentioned, this one is, they're both XL250s. One is an 81, one's an 82. I think this one here is an 82. This one over here is an 81. And I've been looking online at bits that are available for them, and they're actually pretty good in terms of availability. This one's got a bent up brake pedal and foot peg, and of course the bits on the other one are in much better condition. What else is there? This one, as I mentioned before, I've got to take the top off the engine. We've got a broken bolt going down there into the crankcase, so we do have to take the top end off. I think it's a good idea to put rings in it while we've got that off. I'm hoping that the timing chains are all right and they're not too stretched. Wiring and so forth, it's all a bit of a mess. This was bought from a fella from the Eastern Motorcycle Wreckers. Now, I knew them quite well as a youngster because I used to haunt that place looking for bits for XR75s and CB350s and all sorts of stuff. And the mechanic there was a guy called Paul Horner, and he moved, the Eastern Motorcycle Wreckers moved from its position up near Hungry Jackson Ringwood to behind where Peter Stevens was, and he ran a shop there, and of course I went to see him when I bought the 750 about a fuel tank, and of course he'd left. I think he's still got the shop, but he doesn't do any business out of it. We had a year 10 girl actually when I started at the college, Simone, who did a work experience there, and apparently Paul had bought he was still there and he'd bought the business, so a very, very knowledgeable guy. I'd kind of like to speak to him. This one here is all complete. It's got, you know, the Kickstarter's all sacked out, so bits and pieces like that. Now, David hasn't heard this run. He doesn't know if it goes or not. This one he rode when he got it. So he knows the engine's in good nick, and it runs quite well. Both of them have good fuel tanks. This one, on this bike here, smells like fuel in there, which is a good thing. It's not varnishy yet. So I'm tipping this will run. It's got a lot of sins on the wiring, but that's easy to fix. It's not hard at all. And this sort of other stuff that we can look at. Of course, Dave wants to keep the bike looking factory, so we'll do a factory resto on one of the bikes. The other one, I'm hoping that engine's good because I can make a sort of a yard beater for him. A sort of a thrash around bike. We'll just see. Maybe something more an XR than an XL. I don't know. We'll just see what happens. I'm in no hurry for this. Things like this, it's all scratched up. That's easy. We can wet sand that with, say, start with 180 to get the deep stuff out and work up to about 400, 600, maybe 600, and that'll come out dead flat and we can paint it again. That will need a flex aid in the paint though, because if we don't put a flex aid in, it's going to crack when we do that. So we need to think about that as well. Side cover's looking pretty good nick too, and these decals down here on the side, which I thought was painted, are actually available. So there's lots of good stuff here. It's just a bit of a mess the way it's presented at the moment. Also in the bounty was this box full of bits and pieces. I just want to talk about some of them now. Now what was disconcerting with this is the fact that somebody's done a really crummy job painting stuff. And I'm looking at this stuff here, and I'll tell you now, that is not automotive grade paint. That's hobby shop enamel, or just your normal Terps wash up enamel stuff. Now that sticks to plastic, and I painted the downpipes in my old house with it. It's peeling a bit there, and it stays for a long time. It's pretty good like that. Now the only problem with this is it's nowhere near as stable as automotive grade paint in terms of the fact that it'll flatten out and start going chalky. It's not good, and you can't paint over it. So that all has to come off. Having said that, I'm not going to bother with this. It's a chain guard, and it's all sort of busted up around there, so I'm not going to worry about it. Stuff like this, again, brush painted. It's all tracked. It's just no good. I'm not interested in that. It looks terrible. So we'll use the one off the parts bike. Speedometer, and the good thing about this, of course, is it's got the key. And I'm about to plug that into the loom of the junk bike and see if we can get it going. This apparently is noisy. Now, the plastic and all that sort of stuff can be sanded out with, say, 1000 grit, 1500 maybe, and we can buff it out. It is a bit chalky on the case. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with that yet. Headlight and so forth. This is actually in pretty good nick. That's the top of it there. Lens is great. The chrome's good. A little bit of rust around there. I've looked online. There's a couple online, but they're really mangy. So finding a good one of those might be a challenge. And the same with the headlight bucket. Now, XL250s I thought had a bib on the front. There's your speed aim out there. That clamps over your triple tree. And of course our light sits in here. Now the problem with this is it's all stretched in this area here. And that's a little bit of panel beating to get that straight. Not sure if I've got the skill to do that, to make it look good again. You can see it's been creased and it started to buckle up. Problem with this is when you have an indicator or whatever was mounted there and you pull it like this and get this sort of thing happening, is the steel's actually stretched. And quite often it's better to heat them up as you do them. So we'll suck it and see with that, I'm not sure. Rear muffler looks great, not worried about that. That's a spare set of side covers. Yeah, they are painted. I thought that was the plastic colour, but it's just been rattle canned by the look of it. Battery, it's got 1 volt in it. It's a 6-volt system. Again, these sorts of things have rubber feet on them like the 750 does. We can take those out, get all this stuff blasted and coated. I'm assuming the junk bike's got one in there that's untouched. Exhaust headers are absolutely gone. We can't use that. I'm interested in this because it has got that stone shield there, and for a factory look we need to put that back. Right, what do we got over here? Moving on, switch gear looks pretty good. It feels positive. There's our kill switch. Lights, Parkers and high beam. All looks good, although I can't stand crimp terminals like that. It's all been fiddled with. We need to sort of make sure that it's going to get a good result out of it. Same thing, combi switch there with the horn and everything. That's good, factory plugs. Indicators look fairly good. We can revitalise these lenses really easy. It's a nice easy gig to do that. Coil packs there. This loom here, this was out to bike it round. What have we got? We'll have a rectifier there. There's your coil. Flush a can by the look of it. I don't like seeing this sort of stuff. This has been cut. But you know what? We'll only need a little bit of that. That'll be the Parker. So we can figure all that out. I'm not worried about that. Airbox again, brush painted. A white-tailed spider fell out of this yesterday, and I never kill spiders, but I kill those things the moment I see them. That looks pretty good, even though it has got that crappy paint on. So, there's quite a few bits there. Quite a few bits. In terms of wheel rims, these look absolutely great. Being alloy, they haven't rusted, and they're really usable. They're actually in really good condition. They're DID rims. This is the same sort of thing. It's a 20-inch or something. It's huge. Kickstand on this one's pretty good. This one's had some sort of foot welded onto the bottom of it. Obviously it's been on soggy ground. It's all spaggy. It looks terrible. We can cut that off if we do end up being able to use some of these parts in a second capacity. I'm particularly keen on revitalising both. And the reason for that is we'll end up with a bike's worth of other kit left over, if you know what I mean, that would be a shame not to use. It'd be a shame to part it out. I need to see this frame. I need to see what it's like, because this is the frame I intend to use. And I don't know much about this bike at all. In fact, I don't know much about either of them. I know as much about these things as I did about the 750 when I got it, and that was nothing as well. So I think what we might do is I might pop a plug out and put a compression tester on there and see what happens. Well, the first thing I've realised is this has no compression. None. So we need to have a look at that. The first thing, we'll just take a bit of stuff off, see what we've got. We'll get them redone too. Ooh. Someone's rammed a bolt in there. It's probably an Imperial one and a metric thread. It's very, very difficult to remove. Okay, let's have a look. Gearbox, and the foam is absolutely screwed. You can see it just all falls out. That's alright. Might as well just finish the job, eh? It's not C, so I don't have to keep going in and out. I've sprayed a bit of penetrating fluid on the back of it. So far in what I've looked at on these, that the parts aren't prohibitively expensive. Having said that, there's something busted in the engine, and I'd sort of like to see what that is, just from a curiosity point of view. But half of these things are probably jammed in the wrong holes, and we'll just see what. I mean, that's not even something I'd bother keeping. You just chuck that. This appears to have been thrashed pretty bad, and well, at least neglected to the point where it's not. Oh, there's fuel. It still smells fresh, and that's a good thing. It's good because it doesn't smell old. I mean, it is old, but it's not old. And the other thing is, it's not. The tank was fairly clean inside. Let's probably get off and have a look. So, if only my 750 tank was like this, it's going to be very difficult. You can see there's a slight bit of surface rust up there, but that's not enough to line it for. It's holding fuel really, really well. Yeah, I can't get in there. You get the gist though. It is a really good tank, and also under the lid is in really good condition as well. So I wish my 750 tank was as good as that. So I'm going to sort of take that off, seal it up again. Got a lot of fuel in it. And that's actually, that'll be fine to use in the lawnmower. This is another good thing about videotaping it. I can see exactly how everything goes. Because on the road bikes, generally your electrical stuff's over here, where the air filter is. But that's cool, I can see how everything goes. I just wonder why it hasn't got any compression. Hang on a sec. Oh, that's tight. I'd say it's got a burnt valve, or the decompressor's had it or something, I don't know. We'll just take it all off and have a look, eh? We'll just keep taking parts off and seeing where that goes. I just sort of had a hope of trying to get it started, this one. I wanted to ascertain the condition of the engine. Didn't really need to start it to see what that was like, did I? Going on under here, eh? I wonder if it's got a busted timing chain. There's something really, really not right there. It actually feels a bit like a broken timing belt on a car. They sort of turn over in a certain way. Sounds bad. Reasonably bad. Nice and clean inside though. So I'll just plonk that back. It's missing its adjuster there. You can see it's got a valve adjuster on this exhaust valve, but that one hasn't got one. So straight off the bat, it's not brilliant. That's actually really bad. Has it got valve clearance there? No clearance there either. Ooh. Alright, so I'm taking the airbox out. Every fastener I'm just going to keep with that. And then I'll write it all down on a piece of paper which go where, so to speak. And then, when I get them back, I can put them in sandwich bags. And I know then when I go to put these parts back in, I know where they go. Because they're all different lengths. Most of these bikes, 6 and 8mm threads. But there are even slight differences in length like that. So one's sort of 10 and one's 15mm. So it's just a matter of sort of being methodical about it. There's an earth strap, and I'm recording this so I can look over the video later. which is when my wife and children laugh at me. They think, you love yourself because you're watching your videos, but quite often I watch them for reference, for the purpose of reference. This is absolutely packed, this thing here. Let's try to get this element out. God, look at that. Oh my goodness me. But that's all cleanable. That's cool. All good, indeed. So, well, I'll just put them all in boxes. Then we know what goes where. Although, this has something holding it in. That's undone. What is... oh, a hose. Here we go. Cool. Little bracket there. But that's cool. That's awesome. And I would sooner use that cleaned up than the one that had brush painted rubbish on it. That rubber's hard, but it's functional. It's all good. So that can go over there with its bolts. Just sort of giving everything a visual to make sure it works, or it doesn't work. Choke works well. You can see there. That's all good, so we can undo that. This is so typical of, oh look at this, that's all sort of not very good. We'll fix that up if we need to. Not sure what the state of this motor is. If it's fixable, I'm going to fix it. I'll tell you now, because I mean if it needs this, that and the next thing, it's like $100 or $200 to fix the whole thing, I'll do it. I'll tell you what, I'm loving doing these bikes. At the moment it's sort of really good because this is free doing this stuff. Pulling them apart doesn't cost anything. Putting them back together it does. Come on little girl, out you get. There we go. There's our choke. I'll just nip that up a little bit in case we drop anything. And that stuff's good to get plated too. Hear that, Dave? I'm plating more stuff. Good. Might take the carby off. Hang on, I'll do the throttle first. Where are you located? Over here. There's a lot of crud. There we go, that's off. There's an awful lot of crud around here. It's been used as a sort of a dirt bike, which is what it is. Where's my 2-minute spinner? But I really, really like the idea of making it go again. Like getting 2 of them running, because we've got 2 frames, got 4 wheels, we've got everything we need, you know. And it would just make, it would be so much better than just having one great bike and a box full of rubbish. So yeah, we'll just see where it leads us, you know. If things absolutely beyond repair, well, it doesn't matter. It was bought as a hack, and I'm sure Paul, who sold the bike to David, he was a pretty clued up guy. He would have known a long time before I'm going to find out what was wrong with it. He probably even was told by the guy that sold it to him or gave it to him, whatever it is. I'm aiming for a look that you'd have had when you wheeled one of these things out of the showroom back in 1981. That's what we're aiming for. Patience is a virtue. Actually, I might undo that at the head, just on the off chance. Oh, here we go, I've got it. How's this look? That looks really good. Looks like the 750s one actually. It's just like the 750s carby. Nice and free, it's in bloody good condition. That's cool. That's really good. I'd wager that this is really clean inside too with the fuel it's got. Anyway, that's cool. I just hooked up the clutch, it was off, but I just hooked it up now and it is operational, which is cool. Isn't that supposed to got a loop in it? Where's the loop? Oh, there it is. Good work. Take what's left of this exhaust off. This is stuffed. I was hoping this would be alright. It's not, it's absolutely knackered. So, you gotta get setbacks. Setbacks are good because that's what makes the job that much sweeter when you succeed. Get these things off, these are probably gonna break. Guy on the forum told me when I did the 750, not the forum, what is it, the YouTube comments, he goes, always chuck new studs in, and he's right. I used to work for Nissan and we were always doing J30 Maxima ones, they're always breaking. RB30 ones too. They're always known for breaking. Hang on, I've got to go through the frame on the tripod on the camera. Oh, sorry about that. So, you know what, for the price of a few bucks, yeah, stick newies on. I got my arm through one of the triangulations on the tripod. It's like being a bloody contortionist. There we go, there's 2 of them. You should come off, Hazel. We'll just go and do the other side. Trying not to scratch up that compliance plate. I'm just taking these little collets off. Oh, that's stuck on there, is it? That should come out quite freely. Here we go. And these guys here, that'll come off because I've already taken the little collars out. I think we can plate those. Hear that, Dave? Hear that, mate? We're going to plate them just because you like plating. And we'll dig you out of there. It's got these little these rings that press against the copper ring inside the cylinder head. I'm going to work the camera. We'll keep these. These are the things you bag. These four guys here. Where's the other one? These four gasket halves and these two bits here, of course. It's got this really cool sort of clamp thing goes around the frame for the rear muffler. That's adjustable depending on the type of rear muffler you get. And these nuts, that's all exhaust. That's cool. This is like one of the old bikes, the old XR I had, which I wasn't aware of. I forgot about this. It's all, the crankcase is integral with the frame, so it's sort of held up here, and at the back there's sort of nothing underneath, which is cool. It makes removal quite a bit easier. I just thought I'd try and take a shortcut. I took this out and tried it in the other one on the off chance the bolt's just missing, but it is actually broken off there, so I do have to take the top end off the other one. I'm going to take the top end off this for two reasons. Something sounds really bad when I kick it over. There's no compression, so I want to, just out of curiosity's sake, take this off, and it'll also teach me a bit about these, so that by the time I get to the good one, I know what I'm doing. Interestingly, there's a little lever behind the kickstarter there for the decompressor, which has a little cable that runs up to here. But check this out. I don't know if that's supposed to happen. Yeah, no idea. I need to do some investigative surgery, I think. This kickstarter feels flogged out pretty bad. It's all sort of loose. You can only rebuild them, but this one, I think it might be a bit beyond that. The one on the good bike seems to be in better nick. So I'll just clean some of this stuff out of the way. This whole assembly here, it still is functional, but I'm going to powder coat that. And the reason is it's going to give it a far more resilient coat. That's a spring for the brake pedal. Hang on a second. A much more resilient coat. That's worn, but it's not bad. So of course all these things, I need to keep them all together so when I'm ready to catalogue I can sort of see it all there. That's cool. Oh, lovely rusty bike. Oh man, that is tight. Here we go. So although this looks pretty rubbish, this bike, there's a lot of really good kit on it. Far better than the one that had a little brush painting work on it. Oh. I don't know why I'm taking that off. I suppose I've got to take this off anyway, but say the engine I don't need to, but just provides a little bit more room. So on the 750 we can get a new spring with clevis pin through there. I'll pull it apart and I'll evaluate it then, but these will come up mint, particularly if they're nicely powder coated with new springs and hardware. It just gives a detailed resto look. So that's cool. There's a lot of really good kit on this that I've found so far that I thought would be far worse than what it is. I'll take the oil out, see what it's like. It's grotty. It's really grotty. Let that drain, and because the bike's in the right angle for it, I've got everything ready to come off now. The engine's just being held on by the bracket at the cylinder head and this through bolt up here, which is just out of frame. Right, so I got this thing ready to come out. I've got all the mounts off. The one up on the head, I've just stuck a block of wood there in case it falls down. It's sitting on a milk crate. So the only one left now is this little guy here. So I'm expecting to sort of drop when I crack that. There's just a threaded rod through there with, it's got a nylock on it plus a split washer, which is an unusual thing to do. It's also got these spaces, so while I hold the bike up, been put on. So that doesn't look very factory Honda. But we don't worry about that. Okay, there's a little space, huh? I think we got it. Yes, we have. It's kind of jammed though. Can you just hold that, the top of the head, from falling, like hold it back towards us, and then I can sort of catch it over here, like that, and let it go. Oh, it's light, it doesn't really weigh anything. Cool. So there we go, 2 POSs. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. We'll continue disassembling the one on the left in the next video. Get the frame stripped down. I've got to take a whole bunch of bits and pieces to Dave to see what he wants to do with them. Things like wheels, that sort of thing. Should be a real cross between each one. The stanchions on this one here seems to be much better nick than those. Yet a lot of the stuff on this bike's better. The frame being one of them. And of course, the wiring might be better on this one too than what came off that originally. So it's really going to be a mix of two. I really would have liked to get the engine in this one perfect so it's matching number. I don't know if the plate says on it the engine number. I don't think it does. No, it doesn't. So it probably doesn't matter that much. But look, hope you've enjoyed this. This has just been a preliminary one. A lot of the time I spent yesterday was pulling the engine down, and I'll release that video in the next few days or so, just to show what's in it and what we need to do if we want to resurrect it, that sort of thing. It has got one busted part in it, which is a bit of a pain, but anyway, hope you've enjoyed this. There's quite a few more coming, so really will turn out to be a rather lovely bike when we're done. So anyway, stay safe, drive carefully, enjoy your classic, and I'll see you later.